against my enemies, yeah.
What is up, everyone? I am Rob.
I am Eamon.
And this is the Wavertree Bus Incident Monster Fuzz podcast.
Wavertree.
It's the Wavertree, not the Wavertree, the Wavertree.
Wavertree. This is one for your family.
Yeah.
Liverpoolian.
Fucking bus incidents.
Fucking cloaked individuals in the fucking bus.
Like me fucking chicken roll. That's interesting. We're going to Liverpool, are we?
There's actually Liverpool, the more I looked into it.
Scary place, alright.
I mean, both in the astral realm and the corporeal realm.
Lots of spookiness going on over in Liverpool, that much is for sure.
But it has rich lore of time slips and weird liminal spaces and stuff like that.
Yeah, Liverpool is like...
it's one of the oldest fucking places.
Yeah, and as well, like a lot of Irish over there. It's like, you know, a lot of Liverpool people have Irish surnames, you know.
Right.
It's very Irish, actually, I would say. It's one of the main sort of places that Irish people went to. That and Manchester, big time.
Okay.
Way more than London. Like, they went up to Manchester and to Liverpool. Probably just because it's, you know, if you cross over via Dublin there, you get to Holyhead or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like literally right beside Manchester and Liverpool, really. It's not far. Like, it's like, I think it's like, that's the funny thing. Like, when we went to Snowdon and all, we're like literally, I think, like an hour away from Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's like super close, like, you know. So yeah, that's how people went over. They would have mixed over there. But yeah, big Irish community. Looking forward to this then. Going and checking out the Scallies.
It's not a huge episode. There's a lot of conjecture that we'll probably bring into it, but the incident itself, I relied a good bit on ChatGPT on this, and then had to go back and correct all the garbage that it sent to me. So apologies if there's anything here that isn't 100% accurate. And you're a Wavertree bus incident enthusiast.
I can't believe it.
Because I was trying to find stuff online, but I just couldn't find a good source. Because usually it's like buy a book, but sure, you know yourself. When we do notes, we need the Wikipedia version of what happened to kind of just scrape the surface.
When the books, when it's only a book available, it gets really tricky. Because then you're like, Jesus, I need to actually get the author then.
Yeah, exactly. It can be tricky. Now I will say, I'm sure some of you are probably familiar with them. It's where the graphic, in our notes, we always have like a picture that we put in as a kind of, I don't know why we do it. We've just always done it.
Yeah.
We just put in a picture to kind of create the scene, I suppose. But that is from Bedtime Stories, which is like a podcast / YouTube channel. Cool. But he does very good. So I listened to that as part of it. But again, when you're listening to it, I've done a few episodes where I've been transcribing. Yeah. So
that's cool, yeah.
Yeah, so like there's times I'm listening to stuff and they're doing, say, the quote, they're reading out the quotes of the person that experienced the thing, and I'm like typing it down as they're saying it to the best of my ability and rewinding and going back.
I'll put this on here just for, but we actually have a tool now that'll auto transcribe, so you can just copy and paste. Yeah, so I'll sort that out for you. Hope all of our listeners are well. Hope you're having a good day wherever you may be. Hope you're spooking it up, you know. We're almost into September, would you believe, which means we're 1 month away from spooky season, which is exciting as well.
So what day is it today?
It's like time of recording, I have no idea actually. Is it like the 16th or something, or a bit after that? I don't know.
Yes, well the 19th today.
19th.
The new Crow movie comes out on the 23rd.
Oh,
so
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Friday.
Oh, okay, interesting. So yeah, guys, if you want to head on over and support the podcast on Patreon, that would be great. It is what has brought us to where we are right now as a podcast. It has given us all this lovely equipment and this background and all that jazz. So yeah, head on over, check it out. You'll get something in return. You'll get your exclusive episodes, your ad-free episodes, your access to the Discord, and anything else that gets posted. There is an exclusive Japan video on the way too. That'll all be over on Patreon. You can pay for the year if you like. We're also available to support on Apple. It is called the Fuzzy Club. It is $3.50, and you get your exclusive episodes and your ad-free episodes, and that's your lot. If they have any spooky stories, Eamon, where do they send them?
Are you a Liverpudlian and do you have any spooky stories from lovely Liverpool? Send them to monsterfuzzpodcast@gmail.com and we will read them on a mini fuzz.
Liverpool, famous for the Beatles. What else?
That's football, Liverpool Football Club, famous football club.
Ian Rush played for them. Yeah.
Ian Rush, Rude Hullet.
I don't think Rude Hullet.
I don't think he did, no.
Maybe he did.
I just named players from the 90s.
Rude Hullet played with Chelsea for a while.
Did he? Yeah. I don't know. He was Dutch, was he?
He was, yeah. Very nice.
Very nice. Rude. Very rude.
Yeah, Liverpool, great spot. Have family over there. It's one of our stomping grounds. So shout out to them. And if you want to give us a little quick intro here on what the crack is with it.
What is going on? So it was one, again, I tend to, whenever I see something spooky, I just keep a note of it. So I have like a little sticky note with just, I would say 100 or 200 just titles. Some of them are bizarre.
I have more patron suggestions, actually. I have to add to that.
Cool. That's great. We appreciate the suggestions. It is getting slightly more, not tricky.
Yeah.
The things are becoming more obscure now because we've covered an awful lot of the heavy hitters.
Yeah, well, you could just, like, really and truly, like, it was something that I thought about doing, which I haven't really, but, like, honestly, like, there's continents that we haven't even touched the cryptid from, really.
Yeah.
One of them being Africa. Like, we've done Michele and Mbembe and stuff.
I think
we
the tricky part with those is
translation.
Getting enough of the... Yeah. It's hard to find enough to actually do a good episode with. So, but again, look, we're figuring out as we go along. But yeah, we'll do an episode on anything. We'll do an episode on anything. Anything. We can just show up and not have notes.
Street Fighter episode.
Probably do a Street Fighter episode. I would like to do, like, I had an idea for a podcast where, like, you pretend that things that have happened are actually real. And I know we have one in the pipeline that we're going to do closer to Halloween. There's notes there for that. But like a Street Fighter episode where you cover it as if it was a real tournament. And you go through like who won the tournament and the
That's
effect
a cool
it had
idea
on
for
society.
like a radio rental style podcast where it's all kind of acted.
Yeah,
you know, like you could.
Because I figure you could do it like that. So you would talk to, like, you would have an interview with Ken Masters.
Yeah, it would
stuff,
need production value.
Ken, how did it feel when Ryu won the tournament and then didn't even accept the medal? And you're like, I've known him since I was a kid. Classic Ryu way back. So you could make some really interesting.
Yeah, it would need production that would for sure.
Yeah, that's right. You'd need time,
voice actors,
time and money. And unfortunately, we have neither of those things.
That's very true.
So this one, the Wavertree bus incident, like I was saying, I came across this in the wild somewhere and put it in the notes and put it together then more recently. I did use ChatGPT a good bit for this, so if there is anything incorrect, I apologise. I tried to listen again, like I said, to the bedtime stories one, so it's all a bit of a mishmash of that. But the 1961 Wavertree bus incident is one of Liverpool's most peculiar and mysterious urban legends. The event occurred in October 1961 on the number 79 bus route, which was a well-travelled route running through Wavertree area of Liverpool. I think that this bus route was known for a load of revellers who might have been out in the middle of the night getting hammered. And then so there was areas of it where, you know, like those, you've been on the Lewis or the bus in Dublin where you're just kind of keeping your head down and a few lads are mad out of it. So I think this route would occasionally have that kind of patronage.
The red line at Lewis.
It's a bit spooky, not because of the ghosts, and then ghosts show up, so that's spookier again. So the strange encounter involves multiple passengers, involves a driver whose name we actually have, and it has since become a part of the city's folklore. It's a spooky episode. I've tried as well to drag in some other Liverpoolian, one particular legend in Wavertree. The only other spooky thing I could find in Wavertree, and there's a small connection, maybe.
I wonder, does our boy Kevin from We Need to Talk About Ghosts, I wonder, does he know about this legend? This would be quite interesting.
I reckon if you're from Liverpool.
He's from Kirby.
From fucking Kirby. What's
Kirby?
Like
Kirby.
the fella who sucks up stuff and then spits it out.
Yeah.
From fucking Kirby.
Yeah, I think that Kirby is not as cute and fluffy as the Nintendo Kirby, but it's a Kirby nonetheless. But he's from Kirby, yeah. So you might be wondering what happened. In October 1961, Liverpool became the backdrop for one of its most chilling urban legends. An incident on the number 79 bus which has baffled and intrigued people ever since. On a seemingly ordinary night, passengers aboard the bus travelling through the Wavertree district encountered something inexplicable, ghostly figures that appeared on the upper deck. These figures were not just a strange sight. They induced an overwhelming sense of terror among the passengers, leaving many of them paralysed with fear. The event remains one of Liverpool's most mysterious tales, with no concrete explanation ever being found. You ever been paralysed with fear, would you say? Ever at all in your life? Has there been any? Yeah,
I think when I get afraid in real life. When I get afraid in real life, I'm kind of, you feel the adrenaline and blah, blah, blah. But when I'm worried about stuff, let's say you're lying in bed and you're ruminating on something.
All right.
I turn into very like freeze then. Like if I don't have to do anything. But I think it's like borderline. It's like anxiety meets sad brain, where I just lie there being like, this is shit, and I don't do anything.
That's
but if I'm in a situation where like, you know, something scary happens, I like be full of adrenaline.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how you act. Like sometimes, like I generally positively am surprised by myself when I'm in situations where I have to act. I'm like, oh, fair play to you.
Yeah.
Class.
When I have to act, it's amazing when you do have like, you know, you have a little bit of an anxious brain. When something actually happens, you're just grand. Yeah, you're in the moment. You're like, okay, yeah, we have to do this, do that. It's more so the thoughts of the what if gets you. But if something actually, if something falls apart, like I generally respond pretty well to it.
Yeah, like I woke up recently here. Maybe I even mentioned on the pod before, I'm not sure, but me and Kara were asleep and I woke up at like 4 a.m. and like the dog has a certain bark where it's like something's like something's wrong, I suppose, or something's really annoying me or something's going on.
Yeah.
And it was like loud, like
you thought intruders.
Over. Yeah, it was an intruder bark, and I was like, oh shit. And yeah, just ran straight downstairs with my old weapon ready to go. Yeah, straight out. And then when I got out, it was a fucking cat in the garden.
Right, yeah.
I was like, for fuck's sake.
I think in that case I'd be a bit more like Solid Snake. I'm trying to get the drop on the boys.
Would you?
Yeah, I'd be like at the top of the stairs, like putting Semtex against the wall and all. No, I think with stuff like that, I don't think I'd run into it, but I'd like cautiously kind of.
I feel like, there's a couple of ways to do it. We talked about it on the pod many moons ago, but in case there's any new listeners, there was that spooky story, which kind of, it's a scary story, so it's almost related, where, I told it when we had just moved into the houses here.
Yeah, you told me before I had to go home by myself.
Where that guy was saying, like, he's from Ireland, it was a break-in in Ireland, where, like, he was in the bed, he was watching movies on Netflix, and next thing he heard his fucking patio roar, boom. And he was like, what the fuck? And like next thing he heard feet on the glass. And so he got up out of the bed and he shouted down. He was like, you know, I know you're there, you know, I'm going to call 911, whatever. No answer, no nothing. And he kept hearing the walk and getting a bit of shivers now even talking about it. And then like he heard the door opening out into the hall, said he's up on the second floor. So he calls the police, and the police were like, get inside your room now, close the door behind you, put your back up against the door, use anything you can to kind of be a barrier between you and whatever, you and the guy. And like he was saying, like he could hear him walking up the stairs. And he was
like this, like Halloween, like fucking Halloween.
And he was trying the different doors. Like he said he could hear him opening the doors, like, and he knew that his one was next. So like it was. And your man literally, I don't know whether he had an axe or something, but he actually stuck it in the door, like he was trying to get in, like, and literally as he was trying to get in, armed police came in and got him on the landing. Like,
was he having like a psychotic break or something?
Yeah, it was something like that. And scary out. I remember reading that and going like
like it makes you just not want to have glass anywhere. It just makes you want to live in a bunker. Like it's funny that you're saying that, because the way our house is, like there's sliding doors at the back, similar to your house, but you were able to close the doors into your kitchen, whereas ours is open plan. So like if you're sitting by yourself on the couch and then that story comes into your head and you just look over and you just imagine seeing a lad there with an axe, it's like it's no bueno. But that is the stuff of nightmares. Like it's literally that is Halloween. That's what Michael Myers does.
Spooky.
It's horrible.
Spooky.
And now we have to live in this reality.
So we're talking about the spooky bus. Where does it be going, Eamon?
So this bus, as I was saying, it's well travelled. It is the 79 bus route. It runs from the city centre to several outlying districts, including Wavertree, where the incident occurs. The bus typically starts its journey near Liverpool's Lime Street, making its way through the busy urban areas before reaching the quieter residential streets of Wavertree. So as I was saying, this would be similar to, say, the Dublin bus out to Lucan is probably a good example. You go into town, you get fucked up, and then you get the bus, the 64 or whatever it is, back to Luton. And unfortunately, and much to the chagrin of all the other passengers, you're out shouting and bawling and being a drunken hooligan.
Yeah.
Because you're in college in Maynooth and you've lived in Lucan.
There's a bit of a divide, isn't there, between like city and town folk, where like buses are something that city folk really enjoy and are used to. Whereas like for me, when I went to Dublin, I was like, oh, I never want to get used to this ever.
Yeah, if you
I never want to get used to public transport ever.
You know, a little bus that just goes around to Kilmore.
Yeah.
You would probably never, and I mean ever, have the kind of lunacy you have on a regular, normal Dublin bus. The fact that they started getting the Dublin buses to go all night, I thought was just lunacy. I was like, why are you doing that though?
Not for me, no.
No, man, it's
buses
like,
aren't for me.
even the idea of being a taxi driver for me is terrifying.
Yeah, no,
because every taxi driver, if you ever get in a taxi and like, did a lad ever stick you with a knife and try to rob you? Every one of them just goes, especially in Dublin. They're just like, this happened, that happened, this other thing happened. Like,
there's also the flip side of the taxi drivers. There's some spooky taxi drivers out there too.
Well, this is it as well. Well, have you heard about that fella in Dublin who was recently arrested?
Yeah, I think so.
Like horrible stuff he was doing. Yeah. You know, just
a lot of them. I see a lot of them get into it so that they can just pick up drunk girls at the end of the night, like.
Yeah.
And then
I think
Mr. Sinister.
A lot of them probably.
Okay, not a lot of them.
let's just try to be but I get what you're saying. It's
Mr.
like
Sinister.
It's like any profession that grants you access to people who are vulnerable. You're always going to have a certain percentage of creepy pricks.
And that's the handiest one to get into, because all you have to do is buy the license.
Well, actually, it's funny you say that. I was talking to some taxi driver recently. The government are after making it so tricky not to get the license. Did you know that you can't drive a taxi that's over 10 years old?
All right, yeah.
So it has to be, the insurance apparently is crazy.
Yeah.
So to make money off it, it's becoming really difficult. So that's why in a lot of places you're seeing less and less taxi drivers, especially the likes of, say, Wexford. Like here in Dublin, you can probably every night of the week, you'll make your money. But in Wexford, how often do you even see taxis in town? Compared to when we were younger and we would have been going out like that. They're gone, you know, because everyone's on the Wavertree bus. But
true. Spooky cons.
But as you were saying, so the bus kind of goes out sort of into the less urban places. It gets less crowded. The atmosphere becomes more subdued, and you would hope that as you get out to there, you're heading into a situation where you're unlikely to face an unsettling event. Wow. However, Robert. If you want to go and tell us the details, they don't. No, I will say this.
Right.
If I was getting a bus home, I would prefer what happens to the passengers of this bus than what could happen with a load of hoodlums on the bus.
What's the most scariest thing that happened on a bus for you?
I had one when I was going. It wasn't super scary. I had one. I was with your cousin when we lived in Selbridge, and we were sitting at the back of a bus going into the city. And like a load of lads, we were probably like 19, 20, and a load of lads who were
hard Charles.
Well, they just came in and basically just stood in front of us, like, get off the back of the bus. Alright. I think your cousin was like, you want to sit here? And they were like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, grand. And I was like, cool. Like there's like 5 or 6 of them. So they sit down and then immediately all start snorting coke off a passport.
Sure, look.
This is like noon. This is noon on a Friday, you know.
Aye.
So that was fine. Then they came looking for skins. Now there was no trouble.
But it
was okay. But obviously they give you, like I said, I'd rather a ghoul than a load of 6 lads snorting coke in the middle of the day on the back.
Well, I would have probably just got off the bus, I'd say.
I think when you're a student,
you don't think about that.
No, you're just like, that's fucking. You have the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, you're probably.
Did you feel this? I felt this when I was younger, that I kind of, not that I had to endure stuff like that, but like that if I didn't, I'd be letting myself down in some way, because like
maybe a little bit.
I needed to be not tough enough, but needed to have enough grit to just like get through it. No, I wouldn't put myself in like serious danger, but I was like, this is grand, everything's okay. Just I didn't want to allow myself an escape from being afraid, if that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe. I think sometimes, you kind of have to know when to fold them.
Yeah, very true.
And I think I'm fairly good at knowing when to fold them.
Knowing what, yeah.
In a situation like that, like,
it wouldn't have been a bad time to fold them. But again, it was okay. Nothing happened. Yeah. Blah, blah. The other time, again, nothing happened, but This time I used to work out in City West, and I used to get the red line out in the morning. There was times that I'd start work at 7:30. So by the time I'm getting the train, it's like 6:30 maybe.
Okay.
It's very early. The problem with getting up and going to work at 6:30 on Lewis is that some other people are just coming home from being out.
True.
So I was sitting at the bus, and there was 2 lads in front of me, and they were just, one of them was especially aggravated. He was talking about how he had a knife on him, and he was just going to stab the next person he saw.
Lovely.
But in a weird, not in like a I'm tough kind of, in like this lad is having some sort of a psychological, he's not right. And he just turned around and he goes, "Do you have a cigarette? Do you have a fag?" And I just went, "Nah." I just went, "Look, sorry man, I don't smoke. Don't smoke." I probably had about 20 Marlboro on me. I was like, "Sorry, don't smoke." And he was just like, "Yeah, grand." But this was immediately after saying he was going to stab someone to death. And there was something as well, like he was talking about, like it was a really weird thing. He was clearly coming down off a load of stuff, and he was saying like, so what that I'm gay? I'm just going to stab the next person that I see. Do you have a cigarette? And I was like my brain was trying to break down all the information. I nearly kind of felt like going, man, being gay is cool. Like, you're fucking cool. Like, if I had fags, I'd give them to you. So you have enough fags anyway. But so it was just like I was sitting there. I'm on the way to work, so it's not a case. You're on the Lewis, so you can't get off. No. They're getting off at the next off, so you're basically just stuck here.
Yeah.
And then the other part of it is, if you're trying to look away and not bring attention to yourself, the best way of doing that nowadays is to take out your phone, which is a valuable object that people might want to rob. So, yeah, I'm sure there's been plenty more situations, but they're the 2 that kind of stand out. There's been loads of people just acting the arsehole on the Lewis. Every second Lewis journey is that. Just lads like that'll just, or just like you see it with women, is it's horrible. Like just lads be like, "How are you getting on?" You're like, "Oh," and like obviously nobody does anything.
No.
Now
it's just annoying.
If it gets to a point, obviously you would do something. If it's just them mouthing off, you kind of go, right, let them mouth off for a bit, because again the fear is that like, used to be a certain amount of years ago, it's a fist fight you might get into. Now you're just getting stabbed to death. Like,
I think I only had not really any. I think I nearly pissed myself on the bus once. That was spooky.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Like, nearly pissed myself.
And another time I stopped the bus involuntarily because apparently I was listening to music too loud on my headphones. Yeah,
they don't give it. I tell you one thing.
Jesus Christ.
But I tell you one thing. I'd say the only reason they did that, if the same fella who was your age and a complete scumbag came in. No, never do that. They'd be too afraid. But if you go in with a cup of coffee, they'll stop you if you look harmless. Like,
I was looking out the window, like, just
not paying attention.
I think I was actually, funnily enough, listening to like White Pony. And the little in-ear headphones, like, I didn't even have it that loud. Like, it wouldn't have been crazy loud. But there was an old biddy ahead of me who complained. Yeah. And so like I'm there, I'm like, why is the bus stopping in the middle of a fucking country road, like outside of a house?
This is like a bus airing bus.
And then the driver comes down to me, taps him, like, what's going on here? So, do you mind turning your music down? And I was that baffled by the whole scenario. I was like, oh yeah, all right, yeah. And then you pop them in, you're like, what? Like, what?
But like, yeah, that's it. And then you see nowadays, like, lads will have the phone on, they'll have Tiesto playing, and they'll be talking about how much yips they take on the train.
Vaping and all that.
I will say now, lads in the Wexford train don't take any of that.
Oh, they're not.
Yeah, there was a lad doing that the other day, and your man was going, what are you looking at? Like, he was just angry, just looking for a fight. And the train conductor came and goes, you want to cop the fuck? He was just like, you want to cop the guns? You can get off the bus if you don't, the train if you don't. And he's like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? He's like, you're not meant to do that. And your man it was kind of cool. It was like watching a lion tamer, because your man, these lads who were unhinged were all from Wicklow, right? They all go to Wicklow, but like they are volatile enough to just, you don't know, like, do you know what I mean? That's the fear of it. Like, if it's a lad that you're like, yeah, worst case scenario, we get into a fight. Yeah. That's the worst thing that can happen. It's a few digs. It lasts maybe 60 seconds. And then that's the end of it. The fear is these lads who are just brazen, coked out of their brains, and like no mass.
Sort them out like so.
Wavertree though, grand old bus.
So here are the details. The eerie encounter began as the bus was passing through one of the quieter stretches of the Wavertree district. On this particular day, the driver in question was named Mr. Douglas Johnson. It wasn't Douglas's usual route, and he had been called into work to cover sickness. The bus driver came across a detour on the usual route and informed the passengers that they would need to take an alternate route, much to their chagrin. Are you fucking taking the piss, lads?
Yeah, what you mean? I'm meant to get home.
As the driver progressed on the route, he noticed a group of robed men on the road. He slowed down as they were blocking the street. And then suddenly, without warning, the figure seemed to materialize inside.
Yeah, so they're robed men that they, according to some of the reports, they had masks as well, but it didn't say what kind of. They were black masks, but it didn't say like if they were the old timey like surgeon masks
Plague
or anything
doctor.
like that. Yeah. But yeah, so black robes and black masks.
The figures did not speak or interact with passengers. Instead, they seemed to exude a powerful, unsettling presence that filled the upper deck. The strange apparitions were enough to send a wave of panic through the bus as passengers struggled to comprehend what they were witnessing. A 16-year-old girl on the upper deck managed to flee the bus and track down a police officer. By the time the officer got to the bus, the apparitions had disappeared, but the passengers who had witnessed the event were left bemused and traumatized. Several passengers were taken to the hospital for treatment, suffering from shock and acute anxiety. The incident left them shaken, and some reportedly refused to travel by bus again for some time. The bus conductor too was deeply affected, with one account mentioning that he took an extended leave of absence, unable to reconcile what he had seen in any logical explanation. The incident, while brief, left a lasting mark on all involved. The stories about that night would be retold many times over the years.
There was another part as well to this where that detour apparently wasn't there when they went back to see it. So there was a detour that made the bus go a certain way.
Right.
And then they experienced all these robed dudes. But then when they went back, the detour was never there.
So this is interesting, Eamon. You know, this podcast is a wealth of knowledge, a treasure trove of genius ideas and discussions. It's like groundbreaking stuff. You know, we're on the forefront of intelligence.
We're on the frontier of ghostly and ghastly intelligence.
Yeah, and you know, many years ago now, we've travelled across so many frontiers of intelligence. Many years ago, we talked about the Roman ghosts on the roads.
Yeah.
You know, that they appeared like Roman sort of centurion soldiers along, I believe, roads around fucking Liverpool or somewhere like that.
Right. All roads lead to Rome.
And the whole thing with them was that it was the trucker, remember? I think it was a write-in, and then subsequently maybe we did like a bit more.
Yeah, it wasn't a feature
something.
episode. I have a vague recollection of this.
Basically, he was saying that he had a sighting. It was a listener writing from many moons ago, and he was saying that like he seen that walking across the road. Yeah, like what looked like a Roman centurion apparition. Mm-hmm. Now, this is not a Roman centurion, but it could be the regalia of a time.
Yeah, and we get into this a little bit when we start talking. There's a section about the kind of liminal nature of this, because there is another fixture of Wavertree that has there's a little loose connection. It's a pretty cool thing, actually.
Britain's a fucking liminal place, like. So now there's a lot of liminal shit going on over there.
A lot of liminal stuff.
Old spooky bastard of a place.
There's subliminal and then just liminal, I suppose. So subliminal messages
are below.
You don't realize that you're taking them in. So then liminal messages, do you realize?
Maybe they don't mean the same thing.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe they don't. You know?
You would think they do.
But you would think, but maybe they don't.
Language.
Because we're geniuses.
What's more obscure, ghosts on buses or language in general? Which one is more obscure and bizarre?
We're bound to find out with genius such as ours. We're bound to discover the origins of those meanings throughout this episode. What is unusual, though, is that these particular entities seem to be tied in with Britain.
Yeah.
More specifically, Northern England.
Good old Blighty.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, I don't know why that would be. Something to do with the Roman roads. Let's blame them.
It could be. We'll get into it. There's a good little explanation here. So I'll tell you. So there's a few, like, what are the theories, and it's the usual cookie cutter nonsense that people like to say.
Okay, Jesus.
So you know yourself, man, mass hysteria.
Like
the usual. One lad was like, "Oh, look, a lad in a robe," and then some other one's like, "I think I see it too." And then the whole bus, including the bus driver, is like, loads of lads on robes jumping in, appearing in the bus and all. Like,
no, there's no such thing as mass hysteria.
I know, we've done hysterical dancing and like that.
The dancing plague,
the dancing plague, which is very interesting. And almost feels like someone got a hold of the history books and wrote lies. Because it seems so improbable, right? But, you know, I don't think that that's the case.
No.
So, obviously, some people believe it's a bona fide paranormal event. But skeptics would go more towards mundane explanation. Some people suspect that it was actually a prank, and the detour part of it was like to guide the bus. So either the driver or someone on the bus had made this whole prank thing. So you would go out there and then you would just be, you know, not accosted by these robe lads, but maybe it was part of they're trying to rob them or something.
A lot of scallies and robes.
A lot of scallies. Give me your fucking pack.
What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know. Yeah, that, like, you know, Liverpool lads know to be known to do a bit of a prank and a gatch.
It's a fairly, like, imagine the Kilmore bus. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Kilmore bus. And out at Tagoat, you and me put a little detour sign, send somewhere else, and then we get a load of our friends.
We should do that.
It would be a bit of crack, to dress in cloaks, and then we appear, we transport ourselves onto the bus. So yeah, look,
it couldn't happen like they described.
No. But it could be that people are freaking out.
Yeah.
And, you know, the doors are open. And it is kind of a scary thing as well, to be fair, if you think about being on a bus and then all of a sudden you look out and there's just like druids around the bus. That's pretty...
Yeah, robes are cool, you know, and very effortlessly spooky, one might say.
Yeah, and sometimes heroic. The Jedi wear their robes very well, and you wouldn't be spooked out at all by him. In fact, you'd be very...
Brother Richard.
You'd be like, there's a ninja monk.
Brother Richard
would probably work a lightsaber.
He would, yeah.
You know, what kind of lightsaber? Like, because I must admit, some of the lightsabers I have, like, I really liked...
what lightsaber would Brother Richard have? Is that the question?
That's where I'm going, but I want to say about how cool lightsabers are at the same time.
Right.
What's your man's? What's Adam Driver's Darth something or other? What's he?
Kylo Ren.
Why is he Kylo Ren and some lads are Darth and all?
I can't remember. I'm trying to forget those.
But I do like the way his makes like an old Englishy blade, but the two laser things come out like the
pommel or whatever.
I thought that was quite good. Obviously, we all remember Darth Maul's. You know, the first time, two sides to it.
Class.
That was pretty good. Would you have any like snake blades that are like...
They do exist, I think, in the Star Wars universe.
The Star Wars universe probably has every possible...
Yeah, I don't think it's like a snake lightsaber, but I think there is some kind of like
whippy laser blade.
Yeah, something like that.
That's pretty cool.
Brother Richard would have like a...
Like a buster sword. A giant broadsword of light.
I'm trying to think what colour he is. Probably like white. Imagine that. White lightsaber.
White for the Lord.
White lightsaber.
Purity. A pure lightsaber. That'd be cool.
Class. A
He's
white
into
lightsaber
like comics and action. Like he's into...
We need Ben, if Ben's listening. Ben does a podcast with his brother, Brother Richard's brother. Ben needs to draw a picture
the other Brother Richard. Yeah.
Ben needs to draw a picture of Brother Richard with a white lightsaber. That needs to happen. So
Ben does listen to this podcast.
Yeah, so Ben, get it.
Yeah, Ben, Brother Richard, white lightsaber, but in the shape of a big giant sword. Think like Guts from Berserk or Cloud from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that'd be class.
You know, I've been reading Berserk recently.
Oh yeah,
it's very good.
Comic, is it?
It's a manga. Well, I had watched the movies, but they got to a certain point, and then the adaptions after that are really bad. So I started, and I had read some of the manga before, but it's just like if Game of Thrones started taking a load of methamphetamines and stuff. Like it's very good.
Sounds good.
It's very good. You and me are going to watch the Golden Age arc of Berserk someday.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We're going to watch it and we're going to record it, and the patrons can watch it with us. Yeah. There's 3 movies in it. They're about an hour and a half each. The last one, good googly moogly.
Yeah, class. 10 out of 10.
I just want to see what you say afterwards.
How much watching is it?
3 movies, about an hour and a half each.
Oh yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We'll do that over a month or something. Yeah, cool.
Excellent. So,
yeah.
Right, yeah. So despite numerous series, no one really knows what happened here. It isn't an isolated case, though, as there have been reports of weird time slip occurrences and reality glitches in other locations around Merseyside. So people do talk Mersey. Sorry,
just to be pedantic there, with
yeah. No, you're right too.
It's not
we need to say it right. Mercy. You can see why you would say it would be Mercy. Merseyside, England, where the liminal things happen and children are very scared. So basically, yeah, apparently there is some sort of liminal connection here. Now, the next part, Rob, is the only other thing I could find in Wavertree, which I think potentially may have some connection. So this is where I said, ChatGPT, I've gotten as much as I can out of you.
Okay.
And I went and I did my own research.
Yeah, so, yeah, Merseyside, by the way, I think, like, I'm not sure, but I think Ellesmere Port and all falls under the Merseyside sort of moniker. I might be wrong about that.
Interesting.
Which is where, my dad would be from. So, liminal, yo. So, could Wavertree be some kind of hellmouth a la Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Possibly. There is a place called the Monk's Well, back to the monks, in Wavertree, and has its own distinct folklore spookiness. The Monk's Well in Wavertree, Liverpool, is a historic site with a fascinating and somewhat mysterious background, located near the ancient village green of Wavertree. The well is a remnant of the area's medieval past and tied to local legends and history. One thing as well that I'll say about Liverpool, probably a lot of the cities of the time, they had someone with a big fucking toxic Avenger-ass factories up there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Like,
would they have been big in, like, the Industrial Revolution?
Shell,
that would have been a huge part.
Yeah, like Shell were there.
Shell are bad.
What was the one?
Shell turned into Circle K because everyone was like associated Shell with the pipe.
Yeah.
And, like, killing, going into, like, Africa and just destroying people and stuff.
Trying to remember the name of the place my granny and granddad worked. But it was a place that made, like, some kind of, like, additive for petrol, so as you can imagine.
Right.
Pretty awesome kind of stuff. But yeah, no, there was basically all the industry up there would have been Toxic Avenger stuff, like.
Yeah.
Like,
so just lads getting chemical burns and dying early of, like.
Oh yeah, well they had on-site doctors,
related.
like,
on-site.
They had to go, like, like my granny and granddad were like, it was wonderful, like we went to the doctor for a checkup and all every month, and like they had nurses and everything. I'm like, did you ever stop to think why you had to go to those doctors every month?
Now that you mention it, Robert.
It's like we're getting exposed. Yeah. Oh no, my granddad told me some gnarly shit about motherfuckers that died there, like lads going in dying from inhaling chlorine, things like that.
It's like baby Chernobyl or something.
Like just mad shit, like just like haphazard crazy shit. Was it Shell, British Oil, I think might have been up there.
British Petroleum, is that them?
British Petroleum. I don't know. I get all my names mixed up here. I'm trying to remember the one that they worked at, but it's not coming to my head because people from Liverpool would know it, which is why I'm trying to remember it. But yeah, Toxic Avenger spot there at one point in time, particularly the 50s and 60s. But so the name Monkswell. So let's go back to it. Monkswell dates back several centuries, with some accounts suggesting it was as old as the 13th or 14th century. It is believed that the well was originally used by monks, possibly from a nearby religious house, who lived in or travelled through the area. The well served as a vital water source for the village of Wavertree long before modern plumbing was available. The name Monk's Well itself hints at its ecclesiastical connections, though specific records linking it to the particular monastic community are sparse. Over the years, the Monk's Well has been associated with various legends. One popular story suggests that the well has healing properties.
Like Aerith.
Yep, a common theme in folklore surrounding ancient wells, which it is, yeah. It was believed that the waters from the well could cure ailments, and people from the surrounding areas would visit the site in hopes of being healed. Again, I'll shout out an episode of Blind Boy, I believe I shouted out before, a really good one, where he talks about Glaunagelt, the well in, is it maybe Kerry? That has lithium naturally occurring in it.
Oh, right.
And
so it's like a cure for mental
stuff.
Yeah,
great episode, really cool. Maybe erroneously it's tied between like cure and mental health, because like I think they did do a bit of research where they were like, there's not enough
it wouldn't
lithium
actually do anything.
But then that said, like they're testing the water right now. Like, who's to say, like, 100 years ago, the concentrations of lithium were higher, like, which they could have been, do you know?
Yeah.
So, like, you don't really know.
True. And lithium, generally speaking, lithium's used to treat bipolar, right?
Yeah.
But I wonder,
general sad brain.
Yeah, I wonder what it can do for. Well, it's a mood stabilizer.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, same stuff. Like, it's mad that the same stuff that powers the battery can stabilize your mood.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a strange thing.
Bit of magnesium and you buy.
Bit of magnesium. Is it electric? Lithium electric batteries blasting your brain.
I don't know. Is it the same battery stuff? Must be, right?
Lithium ion, I suppose. Yeah, it's like part of the. I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's but its genesis, I suppose, is the same.
Okay. All right. So basically what Eamon's saying is suck on batteries if you want to feel better.
Lick batteries to feel better. Electroconvulsive therapy. Why do that when you can just lick batteries to feel better?
Another aspect of the folklore surrounding the monks' well involves the idea that it was a meeting place for monks who might have been involved in clandestine activities. Perhaps, have you ever listened to Koyanis Katsi?
No.
You'd really like it. Philip Glass, it's just an insane.
It's like Gregorian chant stuff.
No, it's a composition. It has a little bit of that in it, but like it's insane.
See, used to be that, like, when you be like, we'll put it on when we're driving home, but now it's just me driving home.
I'm annoyed at that, by the way. Like, so forget how to drive there.
I'll stop driving to the house so we can. There was a nice little end to the night. Yeah, nice thing, I can drive you up to my house and drive you back, and then drive myself up again if you want.
Yeah, so perhaps during times when the religious practices were suppressed or during periods of conflict, monks are always Catholic. Yes,
I believe so. Yeah. Well, I suppose as well in the 13th to 14th century, that's before Big Henry decides he wants to go Protestant so he can divorce all his wives. So I think that only comes after.
There you go.
He's all like Pope's class, and then he's like, "What do you mean? I can't divorce no one. Pope is dirt."
Big Catholic community in Liverpool. They call the what's the name of it? They call the Catholic Church in Liverpool. It's Paddy's Wigwam.
Paddy's Wigwam.
And if you look at it, it looks like a wigwam.
Right, very good.
They call it Paddy's Wigwam. Bit of casual racism
there.
But also
sprinkled against ourselves, though.
Sprinkled in with Liverpudlian humour. I don't think there's much malice in it. But if you look at the church, it looks like a wigwam.
Really?
So it's real funny looking, yeah. Alternatively, there's a different tale. The old well has the words, Qui non dat quod habet, Daemon infra vide 1414, translated as, he who here does nought bestowed, the devil laughs at him, carved above it. It was said that any traveller passing would have no choice but to drink the waters and give a donation to charity. Otherwise, the devil chained under the well would laugh.
So I think that one's kind of like, you've got the monks, and that sort of makes sense with the robes and all the rest of it. But then with the black masks, you're kind of looking and going, well, could there have some sort of satanistic thing going on here as well, where like that's what's going on, I think they're both. So maybe it is like,
like a bunch of cursed monks.
Well, the fact that the
like
devil's chained,
the devil.
So they think that they thought
stuck.
that they were like worshipping God, but they're actually worshipping the false idol of Satan. Stuff like that.
Beelzebub.
Yeah, bad lads. But as well, there is other freaky places in Liverpool as well. So the Wavertree incident is obviously a staple in Liverpool, sort of spooky folklore. There was a book. There's another one.
Toxteth is a scary area in Liverpool.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of fume inhalation which might be contributing to this problem. There was a cool one. I didn't write about it here. I just gave a quick blast of more traditional ghouls. But there's someone called Lulu, a 1920s person that roams the streets.
I know Lulu, he's not well. So
Lulu's not well.
Could be part of the whole thing.
That could be it. There are some other stories though. The tale of the Black Cat of Everton, which is a spectral feline that's said to haunt the Everton district. There's also a story, the White Lady of Speck Hall, a ghostly figure that reportedly roams the grounds of the historic Speck Hall estate And they're both kind of the more famous of the tradition of eerie tales that you would find in Liverpool. Liverpool. I went to Liverpool and I got on the 79 Wavertree bus and I saw some fucking weird things now. But the bus incident has also contributed to the city's reputation as a place where the past often seems to linger, sometimes making itself known.
You're speaking in a Northern Irish accent. You are.
The bus incident has contributed to the city's reputation, or why, just with the low voice?
No, what I was going to say is when I was up north yesterday, in like the very few conversations I managed to eavesdrop on, I encountered two highly homophobic quotes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, oh wow. I was like, this is...
You don't really hear a lot of homophobic quotes nowadays.
No, it was like a one.
People generally are like,
a one that was just like openly discriminating against transgender people.
Really?
And then another person just like, you know, casually talking about homosexuals.
It's just like, willies can't be funny.
And I was like, all right, okay, this is interesting. This is refreshing.
Yeah, it's a bit
not refreshing actually. That's the wrong word.
The opposite,
it was most the opposite.
Well, I mean,
refreshing.
like there's a horrible thing, but when you hear someone say a really funny thing, even though it's totally like homophobic or racist or whatever, but when it's really funny, you're like, you can't help but kind of go, But like, you never say that. You wouldn't agree with it. You wouldn't agree with the sentiment it comes from. But it's a zinger of a bit of abuse.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that one, I like that one. A little bit of spooky monks.
It's an interesting one. If it is indeed monks, because I do like the idea that it might be satanic priests that
That'd be cool.
worshipping.
That's actually cooler.
I tried to find a bit more about the well, but it was just, there's actually a website. It was like 3 pages of folklore from Liverpool. Huge amounts of ghouls there. But so what we might do in the future is maybe just do a haunted Liverpool.
Yeah, that's the best way.
And we'll
like what I did with Cork that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Just throw it together.
Cork's another place that's a bit
There's a lot of ghouls down there.
I'd say you'd hear a lot of people giving out about being transgender.
In Cork, you reckon?
I'd say if you go to West Cork, you hear a lot of stuff like
West
that.
Cork, yeah.
Say if you go to the rural areas. He'd be one of them old fellas. You know yourself.
Yeah, that's true. No, yeah, I like that one. I like the idea of a spooky bus trip. Where like so that site was actually in newspapers and stuff then, was it?
I assume it was, yeah.
That was...
See, when I tried looking for the Wavertree bus incident, it started bringing up like an actual bus incident. So it was like an arson attack, and showed, you know, a fiery bus and all the rest of it. Classic, yeah, classic Liverpudlian messing. But it was quite hard to find, like, even when I listened to the bedtime stories one, which was quite good, it was like, there's only so much you can say because no one's really come forward and talked about it. So you're in a situation where like a load of lads saw a load of ghoulish stuff and then this happened. There's not a lot to go on, so you're kind of trying to like pad it out with some other stuff. But I think I thought it was just a really interesting story. It wasn't like the Sandown clown, which I thought we'd be able to find nothing about, and then we found the entire article, which was fantastic. So sometimes you can get lucky with this stuff, but it's a cool story.
It is, yeah. It's just a little paranormal, unusual occurrence, I suppose you could say, which was nice.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that Liverpool was something of a liminal space. I didn't realize that it had. I think
so, yeah.
It's funny that some places are just like known for that. Yeah. And some areas of places, they're like, yeah, this place is, the veil is thin here.
Yeah. We'll do further research into it. And as well, like Kevin, I actually contacted him today, funnily enough. It's funny that we're doing a Liverpool episode. And I was saying to him that we must record again now just after Halloween, maybe.
Well, it would be good even if we did the Liverpool special with you.
Yeah, that's true too, actually. Yeah, that's a good shout, maybe. That's actually a really good shout. Yeah. So yeah, I was meant to mention it on Mini Fuzz. I'll mention it again here. I was talking about it on Patreon, and probably not as many people heard at the end of the episode here, but maybe I'll do it again at the start of next week's mini. But basically, long story short, what's happening with Apple and how to handle the podcasts are, so basically, to summarize it really quickly, they are adding 30% on all purchases on the Patreon app. So if you sign up to us on the Patreon app on Apple, you will be paying 30% more than if you did it on any other site, including Safari or Google Chrome on an Apple phone or an iPad or whatever.
So it's only with the iPad?
Only with the
Apple app?
Only with the Patreon app on Apple. So basically what has happened is Patreon in response has basically said that we on that app are just going to automatically raise that price so that basically you don't get hit, because we would get hit by default otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's grand, that's all well and good, fine, whatever. What we would implore people to do is one of two things. Either A, if you want to support the podcast, use the Apple Fuzzy Club thing. That's just straight up $3.50 per month. I think you can pay by the year, but it's also, there's no like extra add-ons to that. It is what it is and it's grand. Or B, if you want to get more content and you want to support the Patreon, is to check out Patreon on your web browser on your phone or on a Android app or whatever, but just don't use the Patreon app on Apple. That's like you can sign up. As far as I'm aware, you can sign up on Google Chrome on your iPhone and still use the Patreon app.
The stuff.
So like it's just
it's only if you sign up on Patreon on the app.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
It's just a really weird Apple thing.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about on the Patreon episode, Spotify actually just went, we're removing the option to buy Spotify on the app then if you're going to try and do fucking hydraulics.
Yeah.
So basically people on Apple, as far as I'm aware, if they want to buy Spotify Premium, they have to do it through a web browser rather than through an app on the iStore. Yeah. It's like a built-in thing on the App Store that they have now where it's like, we pay a tax, which, as again said on Patreon on the exclusive episode, really unfair for content creators, because it's like a needless thing for them to do. They don't really get anything out. Well, they get money out of it, but basically they piss off pretty much every content creator that is trying to operate through Patreon. It just makes things a lot more inconvenient, and it puts us in a really hard position where we have to kind of explain, you need to do this or you need to do that.
Yeah, and as well, whatever about, I understand the business, there to make money, blah, 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 but like, you're making money then off predominantly people who are creative, their whole people, thing is from Patreon. Yeah. Like Patreon
so many artists.
Yeah, exactly. So many people are like using Patreon as a way to fund
creative endeavors.
And to fund, to create content that you want to hear. If you're into it, you sign up to the Patreon. That provides an incentive. So and for a lot of creators, like Patreon, for most people, it probably for some people it's their life, it's their livelihood. For other people like us, it doesn't generate a lot, but it generates enough to kind of make something like this, or once a year you can do something. It's
no, so it's cynical and needless, and like it's almost like an anti-creative move. Like it's against creatives, and it's really cynical. They didn't need to do it. And all it does is really just piss off a bunch of people who use their platform. But thank God for Patreon. It's been a great help, and it's a great platform. And like, look, we'll use the Apple subscription thing. The only reason that we've made that available really is because, again, we've said it before, I think it is a thing where people get like free Apple gift cards and shit like that, and so they just have them to burn. So like it's handy for people if they want to sign up, get the free episode every month, have the ad free. They can do so with something like that. So everyone's happy in that case. But we will leave it there. Scallies. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I've been Rob.
I've been Eamon.
Monster Fuzz over and out.